This second portion of my project is to answer some questions that were brought up through the discussion board. The first one being a general question about whether or not I came across anything about countries using cyber crime in order to fight each other. Countries do use cybercrime against each other, and that's known as cyber warfare. That would be using the internet or a network to attack each other. For example, one country fighting another using cybercrime to shut down their finance system, removing important data from networks such as important medical records, and stopping each other's ability to handle day-to-day functions. However, nations have been reluctant to use their capabilities of cyber warfare to cause harm out of the fear of the cyber attack actually causing more harm to their system and in turn hurting their nation. However, that does not mean it does not take place and that it has not occurred and can actually, if it occurs on a massive level, there's been something known as the cyber Cold War, which is a threat of multiple nations fighting each other using cyber crime, and thankfully that hasn't happened yet. Someone had stated that it would kind of be a little bit of a far-fetched thought to get all nations to fight together in order to build regulations and policies against cybercrime. And whereas this would probably be pretty hard and may not happen anytime soon, it would give us a better chance of fighting cybercrime globally and protecting, our country from threats of individuals hacking and committing cybercrime on us, and then them not being punished or any deterrence taking place for anybody outside of our country. As mentioned in my report, there are some local law enforcement officers that do deal with cybercrime, but very few on each local level are actually equipped to deal with it, meaning there may not be anybody, on the payroll and every local police department equipped to deal with cybercrime. And of course, large corporations that would be dealing with, for example, a breach of medical information, this obviously would not be handled by a local police officer and would be handled by a much bigger industry that would obviously have people trained to fight cybercrime. But this doesn't mean that all cybercrimes that take place, there's not the chance for somebody in a local police department to come in contact with that type of crime. And since there even is a little bit of chance that someone, could come in contact from a local police department with that cybercrime, then there should be at least one person on every task force that's able to not only execute the investigation and evidence gathering of that type of crime, but could also even offer to support to their fellow officers and even gives them some guidance and education to work together as a team, at least until it's handed off to some other larger criminal justice agency. The main issue that gets in the way here with law enforcement, as I did mention in my paper, is that there are so few, not all cyber crimes are reported, and corporations can have different reasons and motives behind not wanting to report cybercrime, ranging from, as I mentioned in my paper, fear of other corporations thinking they're weak, fear of them being continued to be targeted by other cyber criminals, because then the word gets out that they may not have as much security and data as they should. And so some of these crimes, aren't reported at all, and that's also an issue because they then aren't even able to be dealt with by a police station. There was another question posed about cybercrime and breaking into a PC in comparison to a Mac. I did not find a lot of information on that. However, I can imagine that, from a Mac network system to a PC network system, a network's a network, hard drives are, hard drives and software is software. So, depending on the skill level of the individual breaking in, if they wanted to commit cybercrime, they're going to obviously commit cybercrime. So I know my video is a little short and only halfway to 10 minutes. However, those were the answers to the questions that were proposed on the discussion board. And I hope that everybody had a good class and that we were able to learn from each other, and that you were able to learn a little bit about cybercrime. So have a great day. Bye.